Recording in progress.
You're ready to go.
Okay,
7:01.
I can call the meeting to order of the Warren Development Review Board, Monday, July 21st, 2025. We have one main order of business, one canceled order of business, and new and other business to review and sign an order of decision, and maybe a couple other things to talk about. I think I'll just start with application 2025-06 SD submitted by John Pitfield and Paul Lynch. They request a preliminary and final review for a two-lot subdivision. The property is located at 845 Cider Hill Road, consisting of a total of 36.7 acres and in the rural residential district. The application will be reviewed under the Warren Land Use and Development Regulations adopted by the Select Board March 25th, 2008, last amended November 11th, 2012, under Article 2, Article 3, Article 5, and Article 6 subdivision review. So we have held a sketch plan review at our last meeting, I think,
Yes.
right? And then we have held a site visit today. I think everyone that's here was at the site visit, so we're familiar with the property. We're familiar with the applicant's engineer. You want to come up and just chat with us a little bit? Let's go through the process.
Make some room
Yeah, just so we can see things if you like about here.
The overall subdivision plan, but we were out today, saw the site, talked to the neighbor, felt like had a good discussion. Basically, yeah, just doing a two-lot subdivision over on Cider Hill.
One thing you'll see on this map that you may not have seen during the sketch plan is you had requested that, even though it's existing, that we put an established building envelope on
For the existing
on John,
house.
yeah, on the existing house, as well as the one, obviously, that Sarah put in there initially.
I guess I'm just going to start off by asking about the clearing that's been done in the driveway that's been built, because I think we were all a little shocked to see that far in the development, how far along the development was, given that there was not a permit or a subdivision issued yet. I'm a little concerned about how it reads in the regs and what we should do about it. I suspect it's going to take us at least 2 meetings to get through this, because I'm not ready to lead a discussion that would approve this tonight because of that. And so I'd just like to hear more about how it happened and why it happened and what the intentions were and on what basis people think they have the rights to do this.
Okay, I think it might be a good time to have Paul or John kind of talk about the background of the clearing. Is that all right with you guys?
Sure. John, feel free to jump in if I don't get this right. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes, thank
Welcome,
you.
Paul.
Thank you. So I'm surprised to hear you call it a development. There, as far as I'm concerned, there is no development there. We had a forestry service, Merino Forestry, log the land, and what he told us was that because the land was so moist that he had to put in the driveway in order to get his equipment in and out. So that's how the driveway came about. It was to allow Mike Marino to get in and out to log the land. The way it started actually was when the house below us got built. When we bought the lot, we had a beautiful path through the forest there. But we were aware there was another lot below us in the town of Warren that had been logged years before we bought, and nothing was built until just recently. And that's the Grado property that now has a house on it. And when they did that, because we even though we were abutters, we were not being informed about anything going on down there. But we had the Cunninghams who live above us, and Jane explained to us that in order to build their house, they had to develop the Class 4 road into a workable driveway, and that the town gave them the right to clear a certain number of feet of trees on our land. So that's where the first trees came down. They cleared our trees in order to widen that Class 4 road to make a driveway down to the Grado property. And it was at that time that that beautiful path was no longer in existence. It was now a big wide open road. And so we had this question, you know, would we divide up our land? Because we had, as you said, I think you said 36 something acres. So we were informed that we had the right to log the land. And as you've seen, since you were there today, we chose to do a section just close to what is now a road, the Grado driveway, and see what we, because, you know, we're not developers. We didn't know what the slopes would be like, what the views would be like, whether it was even anything that could be sellable. So we went ahead and had Merino Forestry log it, and that's about where we are right now, as far as I'm concerned. John,
Has the property been under current use, and is there a forestry plan that's been standing in place for any amount of time?
no. When we bought it from the Haskins, it was just as it has been until this past couple of years when they did the road, and then we talked to Mike Marino this winter before, but I can't remember if it was just his schedule or his schedule together with the conditions because of the weather, that he wasn't able to get in there. So another year went by, and then this past winter, he was able to go in and do some logging.
So I'm, very, very sorry that we're in this position here, because I think that, on a read of the regulations this afternoon following the site visit, it appears to me that logging has to be done under certain state guidelines, and I think we're going to have to ask you to have Mr. Marino produce some kind of report to us that proves to us that it was. Otherwise, I think we're obligated to interpret it as development, and because clearing for roads and houses is development under our code, under the definitions of development. And I just really think that we're going to have, we came up on this on another project that's in Midway and has had sketch plan review, and they've asserted to us that there was a forestry management plan that they were acting under, and we've asked them to come back to us as the next meeting, proving to us that there was, and that it was not just clearing the roads in advance of development, because then it's development and it's supposed to have a permit. So
Well,
I think
not only is it supposed to have a permit, but it's supposed to be engineered and designed to,
Manage the
limit
forest.
impacts. And when you have a big wide open clearing and a driveway that's been put in with no engineering, it lends pause to us. The old saying, if it quacks like a duck, it probably is. So here we are.
So is this the first time this has happened, that this has come up? That someone's logged?
yeah, somebody cleared a lot up on Roxbury Gap a few years ago, and there was a huge public outcry for like 5 years, and everyone was up in arms about it, and it was a furor of, turned into quite a storm. I think.
And since then, some of the wording in our regs has been designed to explain not to do that. Or at least get proper forestry, a forester to come up with a cutting plan, and I understand that Mike Marino is a forester and does forestry, but without
I think some evidence of a,
Yeah.
of a plan and
Yeah.
what the that it was done under that.
and what the impetus was for the whole project.
And for your consultant's benefit, I would suggest that you start with rural residential district number in 2.2 under page 9, which says that forestry is a permitted use under section 9.2. And if you go back to section 9.2, it does, I will admittedly speaks about that it has to follow, it's advised to follow state regulations.
Yeah,
So I'm,
yeah, I think,
so someone might say, well, you've taken this under advisement, but we're still all a little in shock from coming up there today. And I think that we would have to believe that you've taken that advice seriously.
yeah, yeah. So kind of what I'm hearing from you guys is to check with the forestry company, make sure they have a forestry plan that we can present to you.
Yes.
Right.
So,
That takes it, the state regulations under advice, but doesn't necessarily have to follow them. Is that what you just said?
right, but we also don't necessarily have to approve subdivisions. And
I
we
get
can think, we can take
If you
under
recognize
advice
that-
whether you were under reasonable advice.
Yeah,
So under 9.2, it's B, state exemptions, and it's accepted management practice called AMPs for silviculture forestry as defined by the Commissioner of Forest Parks and Recreation pursuant to the act being, I think, state law of some act where that stuff is in place. So I guess, other than that, I think we have a couple of other issues to talk about, so I don't, if anybody have any other opinions about that.
Well,
think
I
Chris
do
and I
have,
have
I have a,
expressed
I do have a simple question. When you engaged with someone to clear this land, what was your intent?
the intent was to see whether or not we had land that somebody else would want to buy to build a house like the Great Oak House. That was the intent was, but we were informed that at that point, we had the right to cut down the trees to forest the land. So we went ahead with that to see what we would get.
Inform, I mean, if, to a carpenter, everything looks like a nail or something, it's like, you ask the guy who cuts trees if it's okay to cut trees. Did you ask the zoning administrator or a consultant if it's okay to clear? Or were you encouraged by your other engineering consultants to do that ahead of time?
We didn't consult with the engineers about the regulations about cutting trees. What we were,
If I may, actually, it's John speaking. There's an oddity here that it actually sounds like we could literally clear the entire tree lot and as a lumbering plan. And that would be an odd result from this conversation, I would think, to end up clearing all the trees up to the Great Oak property and down to the perimeter. But perhaps I'm misunderstanding what a lumbering plan is.
Well, a forestry management plan, which is I believe what you're referring to, would engage a state licensed forester to come in and determine the best use of that stand of trees. And that may be clear cutting, it may be, but often it is not. And so that is really what it gets down to.
It's also a management plan that's set in place before you decide what to do. You don't do it and then go and say
Right.
to a forester, can you?
And so it is, a management plan is strictly management. It is trying to manage that forest to the best yield that is possible through its entirety, not just as a one-shot deal.
And often these days involves ecological integrity and stormwater management, best practices, and time of season when you're allowed to log and not allowed to log. So, otherwise to us it looks like development under our code. And, I'm sorry, I mean, otherwise it seems like a project that's reasonable to develop a house lot on it's a good sized lot, it's in the right district, we want to know a little bit more about stormwater management and some of the impacts that were discussed today on site. But it, you know, it just feels like, and smells like Chris said, like something that where development's been pushed ahead of the proper permitting with the town.
May I ask a question also about today's visit? In candor, we were a little surprised that we weren't told about it until after it occurred, but that apparently a collection of people were there without us being told. I wonder if you can comment on that a little bit, on how that process works, and in particular our neighbors happened to be there as well. That seemed a little curious.
I think Ruth sent out.
The agenda showed a site visit on. The agenda was posted last Thursday on the website as well as the post office and here outside the front door.
Your consultant was in attendance, so there was every opportunity to keep you informed.
Yeah, and the other folks that were there were budding neighbors. It was really just the DeFlavios that were there.
And was there permission to be on the property?
So you're saying this meeting was scheduled in advance, it didn't just come up today?
Correct. Whenever we have site visits for applications, we typically do them the afternoon of the Monday that is happening, you know, the meeting's happening that night because it's fresh in everybody's minds. So depending on the time of year and whether the light is there, it's anywhere from
How deep
3
the
or
snow is.
3:30 until 4. Yeah, exactly. So I'm sorry if you feel left out, but the fact that you're here, obviously you must have gotten hold of the agenda, which has the link on it from the website, I'm guessing.
There was a flurry of emails after we learned of the site visit. Not surprising, but I guess I would ask a favor if I could. We're new to how this all works.
No, I understand.
And we were, I guess, surprised when we'd actually be told that people are coming onto our land, including our neighbors. That would be quite helpful.
I believe when you fill out the application for this meeting, you sign away permission for us to visit. Is that true? Is that built into the
Well,
application?
whether it's true or not, it was okay. That part was okay. It's just that we didn't realize it was today. We knew there was a site visit. I was under the impression that it had already happened because I knew that you had had conversations with the engineer. So that was a misunderstanding. I thought that the site visit had already happened, and then at the last minute this afternoon, we heard that there was a meeting on the property this afternoon, and that came as a surprise. But that was just, you know, our not knowing that it was happening today.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, don't get me wrong, I don't feel like there's any like evil intent here or deviousness. I think it is simply like lack of knowledge. I think Mike Marino may not be aware of this. I think maybe he should be. We've had some, you know, things where he's worked with us before. And I don't know, you know, through McCain what you've been told or what we've been told, but I know they're very, very experienced in working with us as a board.
Granier.
Granier, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Well, there was a situation where Mike was actually logging his own property, remember, across
Yeah.
from, and people who noticed questioned it.
Right.
And
We
to
had
make
that.
sure that this wasn't the potential, because he asked for an additional road
Right.
access.
This was years ago, but yes.
Yeah, it was a few years ago, so, he should know.
So, you know, where your driveway is that, so, is that
Yeah,
Cider
our
Hill,
driveway
is that
from-
Cider Hill Road or is it off of a private driveway?
It's Cider Hill Road.
It is
It's
Cider Hill.
extended.
So-
yeah.
Where your driveway that exists now onto this lot, you actually need a permit from the select board of the town to actually create that access.
Yeah, oh,
We have an application here.
well, this was after the fact because this was, we have sent in a check for that application for the curb cut.
Right. The problem is it's created now. And normally the road commissioner likes to review the whole frontage and determine where the best location is from the town's perspective. And so, I'm sure it's fine where it is, but the fact is it's there and it shouldn't be yet. So,
And I think the other thing we usually do is get fire department review. I know this lot's really close to the street, so it may not be so important, but I think that the radius of the turn into the driveway
typically the fire department
probably
is gonna review all
isn't
of-
great, but
yeah.
it's like the house is so close, I'm not sure you'd pull into the driveway anyway, so I don't know, but we would ordinarily have a review by the fire chief. Is he the
The
chief
road
or is he
commissioner
just the
or the
road?
fire chief?
Both.
Well,
okay.
it's
Yeah, either
the department with, yeah, but the fire chief is the final say.
Well,
So-
I'm not a builder or a developer either, but my impression from looking at it, and you may all know this better than I, but it looks pretty rudimentary to me for his logging truck. So I suppose that if they needed it moved, that driveway could be adjusted. I
Absolutely.
don't see.
This is why engineers are usually engaged on the front end rather than us trying to rework it on the backside.
Right, I mean, the driveway is showing up on the application now, so we kind of need to review it as a driveway, or we can take it off and we can just approve the subdivision with that to be done in the future.
Yeah,
So I don't know what, we
Was-
might have some choices there.
Yeah. The building envelope, does that really align with, I guess it does, with the existing
that's,
access, yeah,
yes, yeah,
okay.
Yeah, the building envelope doesn't give me any heartburn there. I guess you have the slopes analysis in the
Yeah.
building envelope to show us that it's sort of reasonable.
yeah.
So it seems like it's pretty clearly it's the least sloped area, but it
Yes.
just seems a little odd that the red all stops in a hard line right where the red is. Does it not extend onto it at all?
It doesn't extend, that's kind of what
I
we
know,
saw out there, how
yeah.
it like dropped off.
It drops off on
And
that
then we
side.
put that stake there, so we
Okay.
really didn't want
Yeah.
to.
So
do
you're
anything
truly
with that.
staying outside.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, that
Yeah, you
seems
don't want
reasonable
to
to
do
be on the, what we'd call moderate slopes, the 15 to 25%.
Yeah, and again, we really wanted to push it close so that you wouldn't be disturbing more to get back in there.
Right, that all makes sense, the envelope makes sense. Let's talk about the stormwater for a minute, just informally, before we get into the review. I think there was some concern by the neighbors that was expressed today. We'll open it up for public discussion in a second.
Yeah,
But so what we've observed was that there's one kind of deeper stream that cuts across the lower part of the property, many, many little feeder ditches that run parallel to and run into that stream in the woods to the south. And then some belief from the neighbors that the clearing of this side of the property, or maybe the other side of the property, may have added to the flow in some recent events, but it's a little hard to say. From my experience, the event that washed out the road down by the Mad Bush was like a remarkably, you know, big event,
Yeah,
and it happened right in this neighborhood, so it's really hard to judge that anything was causal here. But it sounds like there's been a friendly conversation between the owners and the engineer and the neighbors, where there's some effort potentially to be made to direct some of the stormwater into the deeper stream and kind of away. And then maybe there might be some provisions that we might make in the subdivision that enforces somebody like slowing down the water under some sort of standards or another that run with the property, so when someone does
Yeah.
build a house and improve a driveway, they have to do stormwater that doesn't add to the problem.
yeah, so just to talk about it a little bit, the new proposed lot 2, where the new clearing is, you know, a lot of that does drain off kind of northeast, which is then eventually going into a culvert that runs along the road. So that kind of manages a lot of the runoff from that clearing.
When culvert, you say all the way under the East
East
Warren Road,
Warren,
and
yes.
back down the
Yeah.
hill.
Yes.
Yeah.
The other lot 1, where John and Paul's house are, we talked with the neighbor and they're really feeling that some mitigation needs to happen before their house to help with, honestly, what seems like just more frequent extreme storms that we're having. So what we're kind of proposing is to do a swale that runs along their northern property line and dumps into that deeper stream to mitigate that stormwater better. The other thing that we've indicated on the plans is that any future disturbance needs to have an erosion control plan to be submitted to the town to be reviewed. And
Would this swale on the proposed lot 1 be part of that erosion control plan for the overall subdivision?
yeah.
Okay.
And so I'm curious, just because at one point today, Ruth said something like, well, you can't put any water on the neighbor's property, and we
Oh, I didn't say
kind of
that.
clarified that to understand that
Right,
from our common understanding is that
you wanna
any-
try to keep
anything that
water
you-
on your property.
anything that you do, that you develop on the property, whether it's clearing or building or hard surface additions, you don't want to increase the amount of water that flows off your property onto the neighbors. Or you want to slow it down as much as is reasonably practical. But maybe you can enlighten us as to what the state regulations actually say about that. Because there is like the stormwater handbook, and we're not
Yeah.
experts in this stuff.
Yeah, no, stormwater is, the handbook is actually really meant, it's not technically to mitigate, it's actually to treat.
Mhm.
That was what the original regulation was for. In turn, it does help mitigate, but the main reason for stormwater and the stormwater department in the state is to make sure that you're taking all of these pollutants out of the water before it goes into our rivers and essentially before it goes to the lake.
So it's dealing with water quality, not water
Yes.
quantity.
Exactly,
And
yeah,
It's
that's,
filtering sediment and
exactly.
any pollutants out of the water.
Yep, that's the main goal for the state regulation.
Right, so
Um,
do we have regulations about, this was an interesting conversation, because I would have assumed that there's some regulations that say, thou cannot put more water onto the neighbor's property than is coming there anyway.
I'm probably somewhat influenced by where I live
Yeah,
and Friends of the Mad River,
yeah,
who also take how water moves very seriously
mhm,
across properties because they want to keep it from not polluting
Yeah,
sediment and such in our little streams as well as our brooks and rivers and such. And I thought I actually had maybe not necessarily read in our regulations that you do want to try to keep water on your property if you can. And
Slow
not
it down.
Slow it down.
whether,
And I did tell the neighbors that, they may want to reach out to the Friends of the Mad River in case there's anything on their
Okay,
side of the
that's what
boundary
we can
line,
do.
because there are some other little streams that have created themselves, other than that one that's lined
Mhm.
on there. As far as, whether it be stone check dams or just maybe even widening them, making them deeper, keeping debris from spreading it out too far. But
So getting back to the handbook though, you said it also does have some effect on
It's-
mitigation.
Yeah, the mitigation is really, it kind of comes as a secondhand thing, because one of their treatments is essentially that it has to be retained for a certain amount of time to actually settle, and that retaining is then mitigating.
it does slow it down.
So
Yeah.
it's not really their purpose, like you're not saying, oh, this is holding something, you're just saying this is holding it for this long for the treatment purpose, and
So in
therefore,
effect, this proposed swale that would be retaining and
conveyance.
mitigating.
Yeah,
Okay.
So, and I think the proposed plan meets the requirements for just stream setbacks. That's one of the things that
Mhm.
is actually in this surface water protection, so.
Yeah.
But, you know, where the neighbors raised the issue of quantity of water, it really isn't addressed really clearly as
Right.
its own issue as far as I can tell. I know, John, I see you reading over there, do you see anything? But I'm
well-
looking under 3, under erosion control, and
Yeah,
under
that's what I was
surface water
looking at.
protection.
It just says if you're developing any, if you're putting any development in an area that's over 15% grade, you have to have a plan
Right,
on dealing with it. And
Right,
it
so this
mentions
is-
even if it's forestry, you still have to have a plan for dealing with erosion on those steeper slopes.
Good point.
right, so any of the yellow on the plans, even though that's a kind of a reasonable place to put a house,
Will
there's
require.
well, that's what triggers the need for, like, if you had a big flat meadow, you wouldn't have to do this, and in this property, it will have to come along, so I suppose we're coming up with kind of a list of things that we're asking you to come back with to
Yeah.
support
Yeah,
the application.
we can come up
Um,
with
I guess before, I don't know what we want to go through formally here. Maybe we see if anyone in the public on the screen or Paul want to speak about this.
No, my only issue was, as representing Ridgeview, was what Sarah just addressed.
With the swale and.
With the
so forth.
swale.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with any zoning or permitting issues, was only that one concern, and Sarah addressed that earlier in the visit as well as tonight, so.
Right, so we'll see
Enough.
something concrete as a proposal
Yeah,
at
That-
our
that-
next review. yeah.
as neighbors, that was our representing, that was our only concern for
Yeah.
John and Paul, just.
Anyone else on the screen? I don't know how they raise their hands, Ruth. Does anyone else want to speak to this application at all for anyway? Okay. Do we?
I have one question, if this is the right time. I'm not really sure that I understand what it is you want us to get from Mike Marino. Perhaps if we could be a little more clear about that when we're done, or you can let us know after, but I don't know really what I'm supposed to ask him other than, is he licensed with the state and what's the plan, or what
What was,
would satisfy you?
typically, a forester will have a pre-designated inventory of what they were harvesting and their plan to harvest. And if, you know, or they will refer to a forester to actually come in and do that analysis. And then the logging will be done based on what the forester's plan is. So the question really is, what was Mike's plan?
And
As a forester, because
And
he's
to-
also a logger.
yeah, and to tie it specifically to our code, what I referred to your consultant before was specific chapter and verse, like, does it meet that section of the state regulations?
Did
In
he
its-
have
in its
erosion
advisory
control?
intent.
Did he
Yeah.
have erosion control?
I would just
it.
advise
Yeah,
you'll-
silt,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
we don't know the state statute, we're not experts in this, but we know that in our code, somebody has to give us evidence that it meets that.
Yeah.
And that's what we're gonna have to ask Mike to do, but we can't sit here and tick off the chapter of everything you need.
But even if you wanna give me Mike's information, Paul, I can reach out to him and ask him for
Sure.
that plan and a bit more detail of what he needs to provide us.
Anything else, Paul? Did that answer your question sufficient?
Yeah, I just didn't know what we were supposed to do with that.
Yeah. So, does it make sense to go through the provisions otherwise, just to kind of get them on out of the way, if there are things that can be just handled? I know we're under, we would start for a subdivision under the zoning district, would we go in the order, Ruth, that you included in the thing, or would we jump right to subdivision?
I put it in the order like 1, 2, 3. I don't necessarily put it in the order in which you would do it, but typically you may want to check, obviously, in the zoning district.
Right, so I think in the,
Make sure it meets everything in the zoning
Right.
first and then.
Yeah.
so I think it meets the minimum setbacks, I believe.
Correct.
It meets the lot frontage, it is a road, not a class 4 lane or whatever, it is a town road,
Yes.
right? So I believe that that was done by the neighbors. I used to ride my bike through that little trail a lot
Oh.
myself, I know it really well. Yeah, I think it was even a road then, but it was about this wide.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, very rough.
And then from there, I guess you'd probably wanna hold the steep slopes in chapter 3 aside.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, I'd say I would make a motion that we make findings that it meets the allowed uses, as a residential lot. It meets the lot size requirements, and it meets the setback requirements
All the
of
dimensional standards.
section 2.2. Do I have a
This,
second?
what is this zone?
R,
Rural residential.
RR?
It's just RR.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll second that.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we jump to the chapter 3 and look at the surface water protection. I believe that we are under 3.4
Steep slopes.
B1 for the, I'm supposing that we only need to apply this to the area that's proposed as the building envelope? Or and the driveway?
Yes,
But
except
not to the
that,
whole property?
we would, typically, we would limit cutting on the steeper slopes
Yes.
and so forth, so
Yeah, yeah.
here we are.
So I think, yes. So I think we can maybe dispense with part of it and not the whole thing,
Part of it.
and suggest that, yeah, we can look at 3.4B1 and see if we need to make any findings about that.
Okay,
So
so
I think the finding we're making here, or that what the thing we've come to, is that we know that an erosion and sediment control plan is required.
Yeah. And we
For this
provide-
property.
Yeah.
It's a little bit unusual because it's for, maybe we should start with the subdivision regulations. I know it would be required if we're building a house and building a driveway.
Yes.
I'm not sure it's required
For
for a lot, but I'm pretty sure it's required, it's going to have been required for forestry.
Mhm.
and it's going to also be required for development of roadways.
For development of roadways, but if the proposal now is not to develop any roadway on here or any driveway.
There's already a roadway.
I understand, that's what's confusing here.
So it, in and of itself, they're looking to permit that, we have to review it
Right.
as such.
Right,
Are you saying the driveway is a roadway?
it's a driveway, but it's still, it's development under our regulation.
We would just need.
And it seems a little more than what we've seen most foresters use to access a property, it seems like.
But obviously the
It's not a
wetness-
crude cut
Yeah.
that just goes into the property, it's a, it's a
Maybe my.
built,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and it's nice low slope, and it has a little nice swale uphill, and,
It was built well,
Yeah, it
it's
I
just,
think he does a good job at it.
Again, he told us it was because of the size of his equipment.
Yeah.
yeah, that may well prove to be, we're not challenging that, and it may need to be
I mean,
removed
as far as
and
we're
revised
concerned,
for.
we have no
residential
idea
public.
where a future owner might want their driveway. We
Right.
didn't.
Right. So I'm not sure we're ready to review this unless someone wants to make, I mean, there is no house plan, there is no driveway plan, there's the possibility
But-
that the roadway
but
that
there
was built is
isn't-
gonna
there
be
isn't-
removed, or.
there is an envelope, a building envelope that's planned.
Right,
But that's under your,
Do you,
That comes
is there a
with this.
wastewater permit in the works?
Yes. Yes.
And for how big?
4 bedrooms.
Okay.
and
So-
it's, and I think, so, let's stick with the steep slopes for a second.
Okay.
So I'll make a finding that that we make a finding, this is not an approval or a condition yet, but we make a finding that the proposed plan limits development to areas of under 25% slope as proposed within the building envelope.
Limits any, yes.
Limits any development.
Development within the building envelope, which is under 25.
Right, so that's just a finding, we're just sort of like saying, this is what they're
the
asking.
fact,
This
yeah.
is the fact that they're asking for.
That is a fact they're asking.
And it will put us, once we know all this other stuff, it will give us, we can just move forward without worrying about needing to know that. Is it worth making findings like that?
Yes, absolutely.
Or just- yeah, that's
Is
the.
there a second to Jeff's?
I think I heard John.
Yeah, second that.
Thank you.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye. Okay.
I don't think we're gonna get any farther with under chapter 3. I guess the only thing I would ask is, are we aware of whether there's any critical wildlife habitat or wetlands? That's under chapter 3 also. Like, do we know if there's any mapped deer yards or mapped wetlands in this area?
Good question.
There are no mapped wetlands in this area. I don't believe there's deer yard because I looked if there's Act 250 and then I looked at the endangered species and deer yard and I did not see that.
Okay.
There is, however, a GIS mapped stream on this property.
Yeah,
Okay. And the current limits from that stream for the clearing that has already occurred are what?
50 feet from the top of bank. And the clearing meets that limit.
Okay. Typically that would
Structures can't be within 100 feet. A 50-foot vegetative buffer must be maintained.
be, must be maintained.
So that's
So-
represented here and will probably become a condition
Correct.
of any eventual approval.
Yeah, and we did
Right.
keep that as open space area so
Yeah.
that there was no potential.
Okay, I'll make that a finding that currently has been no clearing beyond or encroaching
Within
upon.
50 feet of the map
Encroaching
stream.
upon the 50 feet of the map stream.
Second that.
John seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, anything else under, we don't have height and the setbacks we talked about, there's nothing non-conforming. So I think then we're jumping to subdivision.
Ask you, so there were some pink flags that were inside the tree line.
I think those were over here.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's where we dug test pits
Okay.
originally.
but we're not putting any septic in there because that would be clearing within that 50-foot zone.
They're
No,
outside
the
of that.
stream is farther over and not at that point.
Yeah.
I'm asking the engineer.
So,
to tell me
yeah, you can
yeah.
see.
You're
Straight
still,
up in
you're
there.
remaining outside that 50
Yes,
foot.
yes.
Okay, that's
Right,
all I.
This is the line there,
Yep,
and
comes out.
but they're gonna have to go this way, and they can go into the building envelope a
Sure.
little bit, right,
Yeah.
so.
Right, that's development in the building,
Which you can do.
which is where we want it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So let's go through the subdivision regs just to see if anything
Okay.
else pops
Start
up
at
for
Article
us
6?
in Article 6, yeah.
Okay.
So I would move that the application is not yet complete based on the things we talked about today, mostly the stormwater management plan and the forestry plan and some supporting information about that,
I will second that.
right, which makes it not a, whatever you call the short session one.
Jeff, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Will the stormwater that's coming down into Ridgeview be addressed whether this development / subdivision moves forward? Will it get addressed either way?
That would be up to like state law, not up to us,
Okay.
I think.
Should this permit move forward, that is a part of this permit.
Okay.
Right, we're not
But if the
police,
permit doesn't
Yeah.
get moved forward, will there be any remediation on the water?
There's nothing we have control over.
I mean, I guess
Okay.
the zoning administrator would have to make a determination that some development has taken place. It would normally get referred to like the select board to set any kind of
Well,
corrective things, right? But it's not usual.
I'd like to think hopefully we won't end up going that direction.
Yeah.
Me too.
But there would, if for some reason, I suppose it's possible it'd be considered somewhat of a violation.
Right, I mean, it would,
And it would have to be remediated, especially if, but
let's.
That's ultimately where it would go, is,
But it's actions of the zoning
Through-
administrator, not,
through
the board
zoning.
doesn't take,
Okay.
action on things like that unless there's an application before us.
Okay. Fair enough. But it will be part of the permitting process. to
it's
For
a
the
part of this
subdivision.
permitting
Yeah,
process.
Absolutely.
process.
And
Okay.
and we are working, as
Okay.
you can see, towards
Moving
making
that forward.
everyone,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I
Making
understand,
everyone
I
happy in
know
this
John and
area.
Paul have positive intent to
Yeah.
move forward correctly, but
And
as
we're-
representing the Ridgeview people, I need to ensure I got it right
Yeah,
in representing it properly when.
understood. And we are just looking for more information to
Okay.
serve as the basis of whatever decisions we do make.
Okay,
So I think, we I don't know if it doesn't necessarily classify it, it's still a minor subdivision, it's just an incomplete application, right?
yeah,
So I
application is not yet complete.
would
However,
move,
it's a minor.
I would move that we find that it is a minor subdivision because it involves less than 6 lots and that the application is not complete.
Okay, and I have a second from Chris already on
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we've been through sketch plan review. I think we would just move to 7, the general standards. If anyone wants to look at 7.2 in particular and walk through these and make motions, I'd be happy.
let's see. Well, I think we can get all the way through E probably. I think landscaping and screening might be a bit of a challenge right now. So,
it. Is that a motion you're gonna make, Chris?
well, I'm working on it.
Okay.
So, 7.2, general standards, A, character of the land. The character can be used for its intended purpose, which its intended purpose at this point is for a single-family residence. Okay, so I'll move that 7.2A is satisfied. B, conformance with the town plan and other regulations. I'm having a little trouble with that one right now.
I'm having a little trouble with A where it says, because I think what we're looking for is evidence where it says without danger to the environment, neighboring properties. You know, I'm having a little trouble until we understand that being able
Well,
to.
without a stormwater,
Yeah, that's what I'm not saying it's not, but I'm saying
right, but
it's,
we don't
that's
have,
what we don't have the information
plan
to
yet.
You don't have the
Make-
verification.
make that
Fair
finding
enough.
today.
Um,
It's interesting that that's under character.
Yeah.
It seems not logical to me, but it's, the language is plain.
So I don't know if we want to try and do these sort of part and pieces.
Yeah, no, because each one.
Because then we're gonna have to come back and do some of the other ones anyway.
Right, I mean, I could say formally that density and lot layout is not an issue because it's well within
Well, I
the
think
requirements.
And
Just
the building
looking at
Establishment of building envelopes,
is-
it
has
is
been
proposed, so
established,
that's
yeah, but-
okay.
But
And then landscaping and screening is contingent on us reading this, getting more information.
rather than make findings on that, I think you're right. I think I'd prefer to do it as one shot
Right.
with all of the information in front of us.
And then
And
under
just take a look to
7.3,
see if there's any other red flags.
7.3, protection of primary and secondary conservation areas is what we've spent most of the evening so far talking about.
So we should probably go through the conditional review, conditional use standards
Right, on chapter 5,
and,
article 5.
and review those for any red flags that might be. So 5.3,
Excuse me. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Give Ray my best.
capacity of the existing plant facilities, character of the neighborhood, which we were just talking about,
Yeah, but I think in the way it's talked about here, it
fits.
fits.
Yeah.
It's a lot, we're talking about the lot, we don't have a specific
This
building,
is where I
so.
was with character on the other one.
Yeah, I think these big lots along the way up there are just what that
Traffic on
neighborhood
roads,
is.
no issues, bylaws, we don't know.
We might wanna skip that one because that's the one that all the other things, bylaws include the things about surface water protection and
Right,
all that stuff, so.
utilization of renewable energy resources, okay, and then, you know, I do believe that this one's gonna open the door to some specific standards, given where it's starting.
Right, that we may be
Adding,
landscaping requirements,
correct,
right, at this point, and protection of natural resources requirements, erosion control requirements they're gonna propose, so. Those would be the only ones I
And
can know of.
protection of natural
The
resources.
landscaping would be to help hold on to some of that soil.
So we are definitely not in Meadowlands, there's no Meadowland overlay
Absolutely,
here.
I've double checked that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, so I guess, Chris, I'd be happy to make a motion that it satisfies 5.3A, 1, 2, and 3. And just get those out of the way. Satisfies, or, I think it satisfies them. And and that 5 is, I guess is, will not interfere, so is satisfied as well. And we'll just
So that's
5,
gonna leave 3 and 4 open for us to.
just 4, I think
Oh,
3 is
4
traffic, so
open,
just the
yeah, okay,
bylaws
yeah.
until we get the other information process.
All right, in the interest of moving things along, I will second that.
Any discussion, all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Okay.
So,
Do we wanna move to continue? Do you guys have any other issues about this that anyone wants to raise or discuss? Do we wanna come, when do you wanna come back? How long do you think it will
What's your
take to?
time?
I don't think it will take me, like, if, I can honestly get the, stormwater plan to Ruth by the end of this week.
okay, there are some other pieces to the puzzle here.
And the forestry plan, like, I think I can easily talk to the person that they used and, get
So
it
Ruth,
to
what are
them.
the next scheduled 2 meetings?
The next two meetings, one of them I have down that you're not available,
Right,
and that's the one on August 4th.
right.
But I do have somebody scheduled, and this can be continued to it, the 8/18, August 18th meeting. So unless the three of you are okay, you especially, if Jeff is not available for the 4th, we could bring this back on the 4th.
And
In 2
Megan, I
weeks.
think will be back then.
And
I think Megan will.
yeah, Megan, and I've
She's just
already
like
told
to be-
Chris Noon to put,
Mhm.
I've told him to put at least on the 18th. I didn't know if we were gonna have anything on the 4th.
I'm not confident I'll be available.
I'm not confident on it either.
On the 4th?
Fourth,
Yeah.
Okay, well, we can move it to the 18th.
Okay, so I move that we continue the hearing until our regular meeting on August 18th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Who was the second?
I was.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
Sounds good.
thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Alright.
thank you.
John and Paul, thank you.
I appreciate your guidance, honestly, on it, and I'm sure we'll work through it all, so thank you.
I appreciate that, yeah, thank you.
Learn something new every day, right, John?
Right.
You do.
We all do.
Very much.
We get surprises.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Okay, so.
Have a good night.
Sorry about the meeting.
No, it's okay. We are so close, so.
I know, I'm
Thank
friends
you,
with
Sam.
all of them,
Yeah.
all the Johns and Georges and Gunners.
It's the other way.
Okay.
Yep, it's the opposite of what you are trying to do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Ruth withdrew the application for, rescinded the permit. Did you guys all get the
Yeah, but
letters and some of the information about
This
that?
all mostly happened before my tenure, so
Yeah.
Right.
it's a little hard to follow all the
Yeah.
dates and the filing, and I mean, I looked at the court, I read it all, let me say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I see at least Mr. Johnson's on, but I think Ruth has informed the,
They've all been informed that tonight was canceled.
was canceled, so I don't know
I'd like to have,
what you would like to do,
I'd like to
Ruth?
have an opportunity to, have a conversation with our town attorney before we go any further.
Okay, so I'm sorry, Tim and Josh, but I believe that we're gonna, accept that the zoning administrator has canceled that part of the hearing tonight
Correct.
and does not feel prepared to discuss it. I think that we all just got a lengthy note with many assertions in it a day and a half ago, 2 days ago, and it may take some processing for us to decide how to handle it, but we've, in conversations with Ruth, today at the site visit for the other project, suggested that maybe it's appropriate to seek legal counsel for the board, because we're not lawyers and we're not, we can hear on what we can hear that's in the book here, but I think what's being asked of us is outside of our purview and is really more, a zoning administrator's deal. So,
Thank you.
does anyone on the board have any other,
That's prudent.
No,
you know,
I think it's prudent, we'll let the town attorney determine best move forward.
and if the town attorney thinks that we should hear something and we should schedule something,
That's,
then
Yep.
we'll be here to do that. And, if not, it may have to be resolved in other ways by other
other means.
yeah,
Okay,
so.
thank you.
Okay,
Um,
the Norton decision, I sent you
yes, did you see?
proposed language.
Yes, and you'll find in your folders that,
But-
I made the corrections.
Right, I just don't know did
I made the corrections.
you agree with the corrections?
Yes, I got
Chris, what got mixed up was the 20, did you see that, the
the
20%?
The
Like,
20%.
remember when you made the motion that 20% of the building envelope couldn't be steep slopes? It wound up being, and that's how it
And
was
then there's-
recorded in the
then-
minutes. In the decision, it was recorded that nothing over 20% steepness could be built on.
Right.
And you
so
know what I'm
I-
saying?
I-
That's what it
I
was.
got that 20% confused with the 15 to 25.
Right,
Okay,
so the motion, and it was recorded correctly in the minutes, which I had read first, but then it read differently in the decision,
Good
so.
on you for picking up the difference between
Yeah.
the two.
But just,
because-
it didn't make sense to me to have anything where 20% slope was the limit, because it's not, our regs are 15 or 25%.
Right.
So it just kind of jumped out at me.
And this is what I got today.
I don't read these things all the time. That one shows okay.
Everett was able to get this from Grenier,
Yeah.
just to make sure we got which engineer. And I have the revised building envelope from Grenier. He said, John states, this is what I was able to come up with. We have a building zone, they call it a building zone,
Mhm,
of 0.85 acre
mhm.
and 1,700 square feet of that is over 25%.
How many percent? 17?
7,100 square feet,
Mm-hmm.
over 25%. I can't make it bigger and not include more land over 25%. According to the
So-
calculations, I did this, equates to 18% being 25% grade or greater, which meets which meets.
I think it means which, yeah.
The request of the DRB. Please let me know if this suffices or what we need in
Let's see
addition
the
to do.
picture, because it sounds like it does.
0.85
Yeah.
is what, 40,000 square feet?
Yeah, and there's like 8,000, so it's like,
It's-
it's less than 20%.
It's less than 20.
He came up with 18%.
So he's revised
So that
it.
satisfies
He's
what
moved
you
this
wanted.
line way, which one was it? It was actually, we're coming from below. It was all this stuff up in here,
Yeah.
and he cut that line at that
Right,
angle
right.
and extended it this way a little bit,
Gotcha.
which
Yeah.
was exactly
Yeah.
what we had
You
suggested,
suggested,
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, so that part
Okay.
of it looks good to me, and
Yeah.
then the building envelope is, well, the whole thing's the building envelope, this is the proposed house site, but
Right.
that just happens to work well there because the septic works well there, and the road's coming in here, so,
Mhm.
I mean, if he wanted to build a shed or something on the way up the driveway, there's room for that, and there's
Or
room for it
at
out
the
here
end,
where it's
yeah.
flat,
Right, yeah.
to turn and
Okay.
all that.
And I had further conversation with Everett, because he wanted to know going forward. So we had a conversation about the next step and the fact that he has to come back for another conditional use because it's in the forest reserve.
For when he comes up, when he has house plans.
Right, exactly,
Right.
when he has house
So we're
plans.
gonna get another
And
look
he's-
at this
yeah,
anyway.
And I told him the kind of things, and I said, everything that Jess told us during the site visit makes it seem like it should be it should work perfectly. You know?
Yeah, small house.
Yeah,
low,
and
all
we
that
talked
stuff.
about the roof and,
Yeah.
you know, the site, you know, the colors and
Siding.
and stuff.
I think I mean, it's also a lot that you just really can't see from
Exactly.
anywhere that I'm
Yeah.
aware of,
Exactly.
anyway, I think, yeah, it's up and out there. I mean, my main concerns were the disturbance of the road, but the fact that there's like an existing road there 90% of the way up, sort of.
And I also
that's disturbance long since done,
Yeah,
Mhm.
you
I also got today,
it was relatively okay.
know. Not to, yeah, as long as, so did we get a letter from the fire chief?
Yes,
The only thing was
yes,
the
yes,
pull-outs and
Yeah.
fire turnarounds and all that stuff.
yes. And here it is. I can read it to you, or you can read it yourselves.
I would trust it if you've got it, it's okay,
Okay.
but
Chris, let's see what Jeff had to say.
Norton Volunteer Fire Department has accepted plans and details for Norton Donfeld Family Trust subdivision located on 330 Rice Mountain Road, which include the following information. There are to be 3 pull-offs, including one with a hammerhead on the driveway as per
Yes.
March 12,
Right.
2025 drawing.
Right up here.
Plan
Yeah,
is
that's
to
right
ensure
at the end.
the driveway slope does not exceed 15% on any part of the driveway.
Which was asserted to us before,
Right.
that it was an average of 12 and
Yeah,
didn't exceed
right.
15.
There was one little section
15 was the
at
maximum,
15,
right.
Yep. Discussion for a dry or pressurized hydrant which would be supplied by the existing pond located just above the driveway entrance.
So there's an existing dry hydrant already there,
Yeah. the
which is why, I think
parents.
why he's saying you don't need a sprinkler system.
Okay.
Is that,
And requests that the maintained year-round width of the driveway be 14 feet. The fire department appreciates the owner's willingness to work with the department and the requests and needs, period.
does it limit the size of the house? That's what I'm
Does
surprised
not.
about, because
No.
normally with the ones that are not sprinklered or don't have a pond,
Well,
there's often like a size limit on a house that can be built, but
Does not,
yes and
but-
no, because there's one up on Cider Mountain that the house is small, but because of the location.
right, they required it.
Well,
Well,
Jeff actually made, because of the size of it. he-
Oh, it
There
was
was a
small, so
concession.
it,
Tiny, it was a yes
it
to
was, it was an
right, right, I
800
remember that one,
It,
yeah.
it was, yeah, it was 800, less than 800 square feet,
Right,
and
and
so they
the
requested.
deal is if
to-
they put any sort of an addition on,
Right.
or another
It's
structure,
Structure,
gonna
yeah.
require
residential structure.
sprinkler.
But this one has a hydrant partway up the
This one, yeah,
driveway,
this one has
feeding from
fire,
a pond,
yeah.
so that's, you know, that would normally be a pond or
Right.
a pond with a dry hydrant or a sprinkler system is
So are we signing your minutes?
The minutes and the
decision?
decision.
Decision.
Now, the
Yep.
decision, I added something on here.
Do you wanna show it?
Yes, on your findings, because it was in the minutes and I meant to put it in there and I don't know if I put it in the right place, I think I did. But under item 2, note, conditional use review of steep slopes for the house construction is not part of this application.
I'm
Okay.
happy to be clear about
Because
that.
you were the one I think that made a point
Yeah,
of putting
it's
that in the
really
minutes.
clear that you,
And that's why I wanted it on here, so it wouldn't
mhm.
be confused or get lost.
Well, it's not this application, it's this actual decision, so.
Well, it's a finding within the decision.
It's
a
okay, it's
finding.
just saying that
It's just saying you're gonna
No,
have to come back
you're,
for
yeah,
that.
it's a finding
Okay.
that is
Mhm.
self-evident
Yep.
anyway, but no problem
But
saying,
it helps,
yeah.
okay. Yeah. Okay, so which one are we signing?
Whoever wants to go first, will let, you look anxious and ready to get it signed, so I'll let you go
First, I'm
first.
looking anxious at all these children today.
Well, eager, not
Jeff
anxious,
says I'm
eager.
chilled.
It's a hypnotic suggestion. You are chill.
It's the 20th?
21st. Oh, and I have a question for you.
Do you want to do this in session, or do you want to
No,
motion to adjourn?
this question is a thought that I have. Andy Cunningham was the road commissioner in the select board. And so we currently don't have a road commissioner. Though Andy has said to me, and I'm gonna take him up on it, and I've already talked to him about it, and I need to actually set a date with him, because I've got 2 now. I've got this one for Pitfield Lynch, and I have one for Vagel and Kyle up there in West Hill. There's another one potential, but I haven't heard anything back from the owner, so. I was thinking that I didn't know if there was anybody, whether it be any of you 3, or Megan even, or maybe Chris Noon. Chris Noon might be the ideal person for it, who could be the road commissioner who could work.
Interim or something.
Exactly, until, because I don't know if either of the guys on the
I was
select
gonna say,
board.
there's new select board members as far
Yeah.
as I understand,
There are,
right?
Yep.
there are.
Which is, I
You
mean,
got-
Joel Taplin's
You think-
right, and he could do this.
Well, I will
I mean, it's,
suggest,
I think by ordinance, it's a select board
Okay.
function, right? It's not,
well, they're the
Yeah.
ones
It's
that
an
approve
appointed
them.
it's
position.
an appointed, oh, a road commissioner isn't
I
a
think it's
member of
an
the select board.
appointed position, isn't it?
I think so. I
Yeah.
think so. And I mean, it could be somebody, there was probably a time when it was somebody off of the road crew,
Right,
but it still came to the select board for final approval. And it would lots of times come through the zoning office for the application because of subdivisions and
I mean,
such.
does road commissioner involve lots of other things they have to do, or is it?
No, it's really
It's
all
not the
about.
person who decides about all the paving and all the
No,
projects
no,
and
no,
all
no,
the
no,
budgets and
no,
funding?
no, this is when
That's a
just for
different
road
thing.
That's
access.
the road foreman.
Road
That's-
foreman, road
yeah.
commissioner is just about,
Yeah,
the
access.
access and who uses it, yeah.
And I'll double check on that and make sure, but I was just, but if you think Joel would be, I don't know Joel, I know his dad a little bit,
Yeah, I
but I
mean,
don't know Joel.
Joel's, he's bright, he's capable, he's
Okay,
smart.
well, maybe what I'll suggest is I'm gonna call Andy and see if I can't get Joel to come with Andy and myself
Right,
for these 2.
right,
And maybe I can get it so that between Joel and I, we'll know enough to be able to figure it out, and we can then get it to the
Chris
select board.
Noon could be good.
Chris
at
could be
it.
good too.
Chris Noon,
Maybe
okay.
get them both to come and just like talk about it.
Okay,
What's the, who was the other person that joined the select board? I
oh,
think it's somebody
Harvey
else
Blake,
who I don't know,
It's on the
really
fire
nice
department.
guy.
yeah.
Really nice. I got to know him because they built a house up in the Colony subdivision. And so as far as the application, then when I did the certificate of compliance, you know, I had a nice chat with him and his
Yeah, I
wife.
don't have any
and just-
opinion there. 'cause I just don't
He's
know them at
got
all.
good financial
He's
background, so
yeah.
he's a nice fit to make, you know, fill.
Got other
What,
roles in the
Ackland?
select board maybe that he could play.
Yes, actually, yes, absolutely.
Um,
Are we now,
Motion to adjourn,
I think so.
all in favor?
Anything else?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Hold on one second, let me stop that.